Alright, BIP of Bizarre Interest Productions, and today we're going to be doing a video I'm surprised hasn't been done on YouTube in the Total Drama community in like ever. Casting Total Drama early boots or pre-merge. Now I'll change the title depending on which one feels more appropriate. This is going to be an interesting one because Total Drama has brought back contestants in Action, World Tour, All-Stars, and Redonkulous. And actually from Package 2, but never again in an all-star format where we had different members of different generations. So here's my criteria for my choices. The rules are pretty simple. I'm making a list of 16 players to return for a season where they get a second chance at the $1 million, but they all had to not make the merge at least once. So to make sure this list isn't just filled with people that probably wouldn't bring much to a season, if a contestant has played more than once but didn't make the merge at least one other time, and I feel like they would be a good fit on the cast, then they're eligible for this list. Now, this list is entirely subjective, and there's not even a roadmap of the elimination order, but we've talked long enough for an introduction, so let's get started with the list. Alright, first up is my main man, Ezekiel. This might be a hot take to some, but I feel like people in the Total Drama fandom have at least recognized Ezekiel was just a bunch of wasted potential looking back. Because World Tour set him up like he was actually going to try to make something of himself. So for now, with a cast like this, just have him recover from that and, actually try to get better as a person. Because let's be honest, the Gollum jokes have stopped being funny for a long time. Anyway, let's move on to our next contestant, Bridget. I know Bridget has made it to the merge on Island, but remember in World Tour, she had the opportunity to fight hard for Jeff and to prove herself that she can handle it without him needing to be there, but somehow ended up being the first girl booted out on a season twice in a row. Yeah, considering Jeff won the Redonkulous race, it would be such a shame to not have her compete and do better than she ever has before. I don't like to use this word likely, but she's a girl's girl. A season like this could help flesh out that aspect of her personality since she's a team player that values working together. Speaking of which, remember her plotline with the next contestant I added, Eva. Yeah, Eva has had a lot of wasted potential as a player since her own motivation is to get better at working with others. But when she came back in Island, she only returned to only get revenge on Bridget and then get evicted right after. I feel like in a season like this, it's a good opportunity for her and Bridget to mend fences and work together. Again, I could probably see her still going out early, but at least she'll end a show on a positive note. Plus, I've got some athletes on this list you can either work with or against. Speaking of which, let's get to one of them. My next contestant, Tyler. Tyler's weird for me because while he never made it to a merge, he's pretty beloved in the fan base, and his lovable jock nature would make him more affable to some. Especially since I put someone on the cast he actually has a good friendship with that also ended early because of Alejandro. Plus, it gave him a good motivation to win for him and Lindsay's relationship. Next contestant is Noah. Noah's the one where I feel like this is a cast where he has nothing to lose. He has a girlfriend, he's pretty beloved. So him either allying with the more likable or villainous cast members to really play up his schemer role that he was planned for back in Island would be pretty interesting. Because unlike the villains I have on this cast, he has enough people who he can get along with, like his friendship with Eva and Tyler. See why I included them now? Alright, you may be surprised to hear this, but I already included everyone from Generation 1. Now it's time for Generation 2, and thankfully, I can put some fan favorites everyone wants to see. First up is one of my personal favorites, B, or Beverly for shorts. I feel like B's one of the most beloved early boots. His silent genius shtick and strategies were some of the coolest moments of Revenge. And considering his friendship with the next person I have on this list, the only argument that I would ever hear for a list like this is that he could be seen as too invincible to win, but he's going to have people on his team and in this cast that are really good at sabotaging, and he's got to be aware that this time someone's going to try to sabotage him. So if a plan fails, either he has people that would vouch for him, or has an arc where he's torn between helping his friends or exposing on who's after him. Look, B's great, but he needs someone who can trust. So that's why I have my next contestant, Dawn, the overrated but worth it fan favorites. Yes, I know the arguments. Yeah, she's too overpowered, she's too kind, but she still has her ability to freak out other characters. She still has the paranoia from mistrusting Scott. And she's going to have to deal with people that won't make it an easy round for her. Plus, she's got her friendship with Bea, which makes them trust each other again to make sure no one tears them apart. Or she can have a trust issue arc with the other likable people on the show. But yeah, we're keeping Dawn in. And if anyone has a problem with it, let me know in the comments below. Speaking of which, and let's go with our next contestant, Anna Maria, or Anne Marie. Is it Anne with an E or Anne with an A? You decide. Anna Maria is really liked for reasons I didn't get at the time, but I decided to rewatch Revenge, and she was considered for All-Stars, and I have to admit, it would be really cool to have a Jersey Shore ripoff interact with more modern characters. Plus, her personality gives the season a villain to work with. The only thing I want to see her do in this season is make sure she's not just falling for like a dumb love triangle again, but actually have her personality bounce off with the rest of the cast, because every other guy is either taken or wouldn't be interested in her. As long as they balance her vanity with her being a decent person compared to the other more toxic personalities, I think she'll still be a fan favorite. And for my final contestant from Generation 2, Brick. So I decided to rewatch Revenge of the Island while I was writing the script, and I forgot how freaking awesome Brick is. He's sweet, clumsy, loyal, adorable, good with drama with jerks, and gullible when it counts. Basically, he's perfect for a reunion season. Plus, Tyler versus Brick is right there, and he's got good chemistry with everyone else I put on this list in terms of interactions. Now I'm starting to see why people are mad he didn't make it into All-Stars, to the point where even it was planned for him to be in All-Stars. Anyway, now for Generation 3, and I got 4 contestants to choose from. First up, Beardo. So I was torn between Beardo and Stacy for this pick, because Stacy has good potential as an unintentional villain if someone like Noah or the next person on this list manipulates her into telling more smaller lies that are able to use to plant evidence against people they want eliminated. But Beardo's the one character everyone agrees had more potential, because his audition tape confirmed he went on Total Drama to meet new people, and in show we don't really find that out until he gets eliminated. I think that would make him perfect for this cast, because the vast majority of this cast got evicted since they suck at getting along with people. But this would be a second chance to actually have him either be manipulated by other people because of desiring that friendship, or actually use his skills as a musician to help out in the competition. Like, there's so much cool stuff you could do with his character, like making sound effects to scare the other team, figuring out how to use music and vibrations to help out in challenges. And I could either make him a target to some of the villains on the cast, or a reason why a team would vouch for him to stay. There's a lot you can do with Beardo, which is why he's on this list. Also, you have Beardo and Bea on the same season. Tell me you wouldn't want to see the inventions Bea could make to help Beardo out. Now, for my next contestant, I am going to get pushback for this, but it's Amy. We need a main villain, and if we're talking about villains who went out too early, Amy is definitely one of them. But I think the problem with her in her original season is that outside of her playing victim, we never really saw her use that cheerleading talent of hers to build up her good publicity with social manipulation, her actual physical skills as a cheerleader. And since they wanted to focus on her manipulation skills, she needs a cast that's not as dumb as rocks to actually make her manipulations feel effective. She'd get more respect of a villain within the fan base, since if she can't get to Sammy, the most she could try to do is target other people that remind her of her sister, or trick people who want friendships and abusing them to go after the people that she's targeting. Especially if she aligns herself against my next pick, and that is Sammy. Or Sammy. See, I actually forgot her real name isn't Sammy, and I know it's weird to have her without Jasmine, but at the same time, Sammy's whole arc was about standing up to Amy and forming her own personality. The problem is that after her sister got eliminated, the show stopped focusing on her when she had people she could have bounced off with, like Rodney, Scarlett, Sky, Dave, Max, even Ella, all of whom would have helped her out. With a cast like this and Amy naturally wanting revenge on getting humiliated, it would be so poetic to put them on opposing teams, so every time Sammy loses someone, she has to fight the trauma she has to build relationships with, and stop Amy's scheme from turning her into a pariah. Like, this is a cast built for Sammy to grow in. It all just depends on how she handles her team, and if a writer on a season like this would actually try to use her missing potential. Now, next up is Ella. What can I say? Ella's an angel. I know some people find her annoying, but on a season with Noah, Anna Marie, Amy, and Eva, all of them would either try to use her skills with her or try to get her out early. But she would get along with Bea and Beardo. Plus, it's between her and Rodney and... Okay, actually, I can't talk smack about Rodney. There was missed potential with him, too. But Ella's got more personality and progress either way. Now for Gen 4, and boy, I can't wait for the comments on this one, because people are going to be angry. Alright, next up, my contestant is Axel. If there's one criticism I have with half of the total drama relationships, is that it's never used to develop the characters once they get together, and that's kind of what happened with Axel. Without Ripper on this season, a season like this would actually give her the opportunity to keep her goal of doing better as a team player. Plus, she can be a game changer or an early boot depending on who her competition is. Next up, and I'm pretty sure everyone expected this, Nichelle. See, Nichelle's quit in Season 2 made sense, but putting her on this cast actually gives her an opportunity to go up against some of the tougher women, since she's probably not going to fall for the same trap twice, and given her determination, she can either play hero or villain. Hell, it's a good opportunity to see what happened to her career after the season, since that did justify her change in behavior between Seasons 1 and Season 2. And for my final contestant, and if anyone's in the total drama community, this is no surprise to anyone, but it's Scary Girl. Yeah, okay, look, this one is a little bit of a biased pick, but is this a point saying that they had Lauren come back only to evict her early on because she might have been too overpowered? But look, she's iconic, she's funny, and given that she came into Season 2 also trying to make friends, this would also be a good opportunity because there are members of the cast who are social outcasts that she can try to bond with, and or fail miserably with. Look, even if she gets eliminated early, at least in a season like this, she can get a little bit more fleshed out given how crazy everyone else is. Honestly, I said this was the perfect cast for Bridget and Sammy, but this might be the perfect cast for Scary Girl. And that's my list. Ezekiel, Bridget, Eva, Tyler, Noah, Bea, Dawn, Anna Marie, Brick, Beardo, Amy, Sammy, Ella, Axel, Nichelle, and Scary Girl. I wanted to get this out because I had no idea when the heck someone else was going to come up with this list. Hell, people already ranked the early boots, so I figured this would be a fun discussion. Usually whenever most people make these lists, one of the important things is that you balance out the cast so you have an equal number of male and female characters. But I didn't really bother or care to focus on that. Sometimes in videos like these, the ratio is going to be skewed, and besides, this is all just in good fun. But tell me in the comment section, how would you want this elimination order to go? Which members of this list would you want to team up? Which contestants do you want to see on the same team? Who do you think would make the merge this time? Who would you want to see get eliminated first? Who would you want to see go the distance? Who would you even want to see win or be the final two? Please let me know in the comments below. And BIP of Bizarre Interest Productions, signing off.